My wife, caught in her betrayal, presented me with divorce papers, laughter escaping her lips. Little did she know, I was ready to unveil a fortune. The shimmering glow of crystal chandeliers enveloped the launch party of Williams and Cross LLP, marking it a resounding success. Lucas lingered in the shadows, a sense of quiet pride swelling within him as Sarah, radiant in her midnight blue attire, effortlessly navigated the gathering of esteemed legal minds. His $20 million investment, carefully chronicled despite their union, had turned her dream into a tangible reality as she raised her glass to capture attention. A smile spread across his face, eager for her recognition of their shared bond. I have an announcement. Sarah's voice resonated through the quiet room. She inclined her head toward a poised server, who glided over to Lucas, bearing a silver tray. Not the effervescence of champagne, but the weight of legal documents. Documents for dissolution of marriage. Consider yourself served, she declared, her smile unwavering as the cameras captured the moment. 200 witnesses, their marriage laid bare for all to witness. To everyone's astonishment, Lucas appeared completely unperturbed in his unwavering gaze. There lingered an implication that Sarah had missed a crucial element in her meticulously planned betrayal. Lucas Chin gazed out from the window of his downtown office, the morning light illuminating the framed magazine covers that chronicled his 15-year odyssey from coding in a garage to ascending the ranks of tech industry leadership. His reflection in the glass, with silver-streaked dark hair and a tailored charcoal suit, stood in stark contrast to the memory of the college dropout who once subsisted on ramen while nurturing his first startup. He meticulously adjusted his brushed titanium cufflinks, a thoughtful gift from his team following their recent triumphant acquisition. The motion prompted an instinctive look at his calendar. Williams and Cross LLP is set to launch at 7 Hankook p.m. Your car will be ready at 6. Melanie announced from the doorway, her efficiency as reliable as the enterprise software that had forged his fortune. My sincere gratitude. His reply came instinctively, his thoughts already mapping out the night to come. 15 years of steadfast innovation had imparted to him the wisdom to evaluate variables and navigate risks with precision. He tackled every endeavor with a meticulous approach, including his $20 million investment in Sarah's law firm. A significant commitment, yet he demanded the same thorough documentation he would expect for any business deal. The catering service reached out to verify your dietary preferences, Melanie remarked. Lucas nodded, recalling the countless corporate celebrations he had navigated solo before crossing paths with Sarah at that legal tech conference. Achievement had bestowed upon him all that he desired, save for a companion to revel in it alongside him. Up until her. Is there anything else we should address prior to your strategy meeting? Melanie inquired. No, he replied, his gaze shifting away from the window. Let us turn our attention to the acquisitions of the day before we indulge in tonight's festivities. $20 million is considerably more than what we initially discussed, Gerald Matthew remarked, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses. The attorney's corner office commanded a view of the bustling financial district, the afternoon sun casting a warm glow on the contract pages that lay meticulously arranged across his polished mahogany desk. Sarah leaned forward, her fervent spirit enveloping the space. The horizon broadened with Judith Cross's decision to come on board. The mere presence of her client list serves as a compelling reason for the need for additional capital. Lucas observed the dynamic, recognizing Gerald's careful restraint in contrast to Sarah's vibrant eagerness. He had observed this interplay numerous times in the realm of business negotiations, where excitement clashed with prudence. I have faith in Sarah's vision, Lucas expressed, but I would appreciate the same safeguards I would seek for any investment. Gerald inclined his head in acknowledgement. Marriage, business, and wisdom each represent unique relationships, each demanding its own set of requirements. Sarah's smile grew taut, barely noticeable to the untrained eye. Surely, such a degree of documentation is not required between partners. It's standard procedure, Gerald replied, a safeguard for both parties involved. I'm not questioning Lucas's generosity, Sarah remarked, gently resting her hand on her husband's arm. It feels overly formal for no good reason. Lucas gently enveloped her hand with his own. Envision it as constructing the enterprise upon solid ground. With the same level of professionalism you offer your clients, Gerald smoothly pushed another document across the table. This framework categorizes the entire $20 million as a business investment instead of a marital asset. Every disbursement will be linked to particular development milestones. He detailed the location lease, staffing, and technology infrastructure, each accompanied by thorough documentation. Sarah's demeanor transformed into one of rehearsed compliance. I truly value your meticulous approach. Your success is rooted in this very reason. With a flourish, she signed where indicated, her pen gliding across the page with assured precision. As Gerald affixed his signature to the last page, Lucas experienced a blend of satisfaction and an intriguing awareness of having traversed an unseen threshold, one where the tenets of business intertwine with the fabric of personal connections. Essential, perhaps, yet not without its price. Congratulations, Gerald remarked. Williams & Cross LLP possesses its initial capital. The metamorphosis of the firm's downtown offices surpassed even Lucas's wildest dreams. Glistening crystal chandeliers hang gracefully from coffered ceilings, their golden light spilling over the polished marble floors below as the catering staff meticulously arranged delicate hors d'oeuvres on gleaming silver trays. Technicians busied themselves with the sound system, ensuring everything was primed for the speeches of tomorrow. Mrs. Williams insisted that the partnership wall be immediately visible upon entry, directing the event coordinator with a gesture toward a backlit display where Sarah's name shone prominently alongside Judith Cross. Lucas observed the conspicuous absence of his own name. Even though there were 20 million reasons it could have been present, he tucked this observation away, leaving it unspoken. "Ah, Lucas, at last you've arrived." Sarah advanced in a meticulously crafted suit that exuded both power and sophistication. "The digital displays are failing to cycle through the presentation as intended." "I'll take a look," he replied, trailing behind her as they navigated the bustling maze of activity. The technical glitch was trivial, fixed in mere moments, yet he observed a newfound formality in how the staff now regarded Sarah, a stark contrast to the casualness that had characterized their interactions just months prior. Her metamorphosis from a driven attorney to a founding partner was almost realized. The governor confirmed, as Judith Cross approached them, tablet in hand, her presence commanding attention. With her towering stature and graceful poise, she personified the refined legacy of wealth that perfectly matched Sarah's vibrant ambition. "Excellent," Sarah replied. "What about the president of the State Bar Association?" "The front table, as you requested." With a swift motion, Sarah directed her gaze toward Lucas. "Let us delve into the sequence for tomorrow. I have revised the sequence of speakers. I believed we had reached a conclusion. The presentation must carve out the firm's unique identity," Judith interjected with a seamless grace. "The significance of market positioning cannot be overstated. It is essential from the very first day." Indeed, Lucas acknowledged, perceiving the quiet omission. He had witnessed comparable tactics in corporate acquisitions, the slow separation that followed the securing of resources. As they navigated the final preparations, Sarah found her focus perpetually drawn to the incoming deliveries and the inquiries from the staff. Her hand brushed against his arm now and then, a fleeting connection devoid of true presence. Tomorrow would signify the pinnacle of her aspirations and his commitment, a collaboration of sorts, yet increasingly diverging from the vision he had once held. "Everything is coming together perfectly," Sarah remarked, her gaze sweeping across the space with a sense of fulfillment. "Tomorrow promises to be a day etched in memory." In that moment, Lucas found himself in quiet accord. The launch party for Williams & Cross LLP turned the firm's space into a testament to success that has yet to be achieved, yet is eagerly awaited. 200 of the city's legal and business elite mingled beneath the shimmering crystal chandeliers, their dialogues weaving a tapestry of power and ambition, all set to the enchanting strains of live classical music. Lucas graciously accepted a flute of champagne from a passing server. His investment is evident in every detail, from the meticulously hand-calligraphed place cards to the exquisite arrangements of rare orchids. He inclined his head toward the president of the State Bar Association, who lifted his glass in a gesture of recognition. "You must be proud," remarked Richard Hartley, a venture capitalist who had supported several of Lucas's previous endeavors. "What a remarkable showcase Sarah has crafted. The firm holds immense promise, Lucas responded, his eyes drifting towards Sarah on the other side of the room. She found herself encircled by a cadre of judicial figures, her midnight blue dress a bold declaration of authority, her laughter expertly tuned to exude both confidence and allure. As their gazes crossed for a fleeting moment, her smile lingered, yet it failed to touch the depths of her eyes. She is undoubtedly leaving her mark, Richard noted, yet I have not come across your name in any of the addresses. The firm must carve out its own identity. Lucas reiterated Judith's sentiments from yesterday, though they felt empty now. A delicate change in the atmosphere captured his focus, leading his gaze to the modest stage where Judith Cross now positioned herself at the microphone. If I could have everyone's attention, she announced, Sarah Williams has a special announcement to share with all of you. The audience hushed as Sarah approached the stage, her stance impeccable, her face a mask of cultivated composure. Lucas edged nearer, champagne poised in his grasp, eagerly awaiting the fruition of their collective endeavor. With the poise of a seasoned orator, Sarah grasped the microphone, ready to captivate her audience. As the room hushed, every gaze was captivated by her authoritative figure on the modest stage. To begin, I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for joining us in celebrating the launch of Williams & Cross. Her voice resonated distinctly throughout the room. This firm embodies more than a mere business endeavor. It encapsulates a vision of the heights that contemporary legal practice can reach. Her eyes roamed the room, finally settling on Lucas positioned near the front. Many of you are familiar with my husband, Lucas Chun. A soft wave of recognition swept across the assembly. Lucas has consistently held the conviction that thorough preparation for every possible outcome is essential. Her smile lingered, unwavering, as she acknowledged someone at the back of the room, a trait I have grown to admire. A server glided toward Lucas, not bearing a flute of champagne, but rather presenting a manila envelope upon a gleaming silver tray. In the spirit of due process, Sarah continued, her voice rising above the hushed murmurs, I aim to guarantee that these documents were delivered with the necessary witnesses present. Lucas gazed at the envelope, its official intent unmistakably evident. My husband has financed this firm as a business venture, Sarah stated, each word carefully chosen. But our personal partnership has reached its end. In that moment, the stillness enveloped the space, creating an atmosphere thick with unspoken words. As Lucas opened the envelope, time appeared to stretch, revealing divorce papers adorned with Sarah's signature, dated 3 weeks prior. The meticulous organization apparent in their groundwork hit him with sharp precision. He raised his gaze to discover 200 pairs of eyes fixed upon him, some filled with embarrassment, others brimming with curiosity. While a select few seemed to be weighing the professional benefits of this public unraveling, Sarah concluded with a smooth expression of gratitude for your understanding during this transition. Now, take a moment to relish in the festivities. As the conversation resumed with a hint of awkwardness, photographers from legal publications immortalized the moment precisely as she had envisioned with remarkable clarity. The rational part of Lucas's mind sprang to life, the very aspect that had forged his success through meticulous decision-making, even as the shock continued to echo within him. Years spent maneuvering through business crises had honed his ability to think with clarity, especially when emotions loomed large. With meticulous care, he placed the papers back into their envelope, each movement intentional and measured. The burden of scrutiny enveloped him, a multitude of eyes poised in anticipation, eager for a response that would fuel the whispers of the morrow. $20 million. Carefully recorded as business ventures rather than marital possessions, this notion provided him with a sense of reassurance, akin to a comforting hand resting on his shoulder. The documents Sarah had so theatrically presented held no power to dismantle the legal safeguards he had steadfastly demanded, regardless of her objections. Lucas, Judith Cross approached, her face a carefully crafted mask of professional concern and detachment. It may be prudent for us to converse in private. That won't be necessary, he replied, his voice surprisingly steady. The documentation conveys its message clearly. A subtle glimmer in her gaze hinted that this was not the reaction they had expected. A number of colleagues approached him, their faces contorted in clumsy attempts at support. Yet, beneath their gestures, he sensed a subtle calculation, as they weighed which connection might yield greater professional benefit. As he approached the exit, he picked up snippets of hushed dialogues, observed the swiftly turned eyes. The public humiliation had been meticulously crafted, yet the expected unraveling of his composure, the pivotal moment of tonight's spectacle, would remain elusive. Richard Hartley caught him just by the door. That was a calculated move, Lucas concluded for him, though perhaps not as originally envisioned. Lucas pondered the remarkable composure displayed. When you have crafted something from the ground up, you come to understand the importance of safeguarding it with utmost care. As he ventured into the refreshing embrace of the evening air, a sense of lightness washed over him. The initial shock began to dissolve, revealing a lucid comprehension of what lay ahead. The divorce papers signified not a conclusion, but rather a new chapter, one in which his investment must be meticulously retrieved before it could be channeled into something far more significant than the treachery of the evening's performance. "The investment structure you established was remarkably thorough," Eleanor Barnes remarked, as she spread documents across her desk. Sunlight poured through her office windows, casting a warm glow on the neatly arranged law books that adorned the walls, a striking juxtaposition to the extravagant decor of Williams and Cross. Lucas positioned himself across from her, his demeanor steady, even though he had enjoyed scant rest. Sarah pushed back against the documentation requirements, which only reinforces your instinct to demand them. Eleanor carefully positioned her reading glasses, her 3 decades of corporate law expertise shining through in her meticulous examination. The $20 million is meticulously organized as a business investment, complete with defined performance metrics and provisions for capital recovery, standing in stark legal separation from marital assets. She delicately tapped a particular clause. This clause distinctly delineates the investment from your personal connection. The filing for divorce does not change your status as the primary investor. Lucas experienced an intriguing blend of relief and emptiness. The safeguards for the business remained unscathed, yet they underscored the stark divide between his marriage and the company, a nuance that Sarah had grasped long before he did. "The disbursement schedule is exceptionally well designed," Eleanor remarked, gesturing towards the spreadsheet. "Every infusion of capital is meticulously recorded alongside the relevant milestones in business development. The lease for the building, the expansion of the staff, the infrastructure of technology," Lucas recounted, his mind tracing back to the meticulous planning involved. "Precisely. Despite securing nearly the entire investment amount, the firm has managed to reach only about 60% of these benchmarks." Lucas inclined his body, drawing closer. "What is the most effective route to healing?" "A methodical extraction grounded in the underperformance stipulations outlined in Section 12. Eleanor flipped to the appropriate page. "You possess a definitive legal right to promptly recover the uninvested portion and initiate a systematic withdrawal of the balance." As Eleanor delineated the process, Lucas sensed his strategic mind awakening once more. The documentation he had insisted on, which Sarah had deemed overly formal for spouses, now stood as an impenetrable barrier against her betrayal. "I'll prepare the initial notifications," Eleanor said, as she meticulously gathered the documents into a folder. "See, what moment shall we embark on this journey?" Without hesitation, Lucas responded, his mind already racing ahead to what came next. "However, my intention is to reduce any unintended consequences for innocent employees. The company presently has a workforce of 43 individuals," Michael Reeves articulated, deftly adjusting the financial model on his tablet. "Support staff, paralegals, and junior associates, the majority of whom have been brought on board in the past 3 months." In the confines of Lucas's office, financial diagrams danced across the wall screen, illuminating the space with their intricate details. The afternoon light streamed through the windows, creating elongated shadows that danced across the room during the strategic planning session. "What is the number of individuals brought on board specifically for the growth facilitated by my investment?" Lucas inquired. "About 32, Michael responded. "The organizational chart reveals that the majority have been allocated to newly established practice areas, crafted with your investment. And they're innocent parties in this situation," Lucas murmured, his words drifting more to himself than to the financial advisors present. Michael shared a fleeting look with his colleague. "We can design the withdrawal in a way that reduces immediate job losses," A gradual strategy would provide the necessary time for client revenue to either replenish your capital or for staff to secure alternative roles. That aligns with my inclination. Lucas immersed himself in the intricacies of the projected cash flow model. What is the ideal timeline? Janet Liu, Michael's associate, suggested that a period of 90 days would be reasonable. Commence with the swift reclamation of unallocated funds, followed by the gradual withdrawal of the invested capital in tiers. Michael noted that the firm would face considerable pressure, yet it would not fall apart right away. They would have the opportunity to explore other financing options. Lucas inclined his head in acknowledgement. Compose the plan using those parameters. I desire the recovery process to be methodical, yet devoid of any malice. Janet spoke with caution, indicating that there was another aspect to contemplate. Prompt notification will initiate defensive measures on their part. They will endeavor to safeguard or reroute assets prior to your opportunity to reclaim them. As anticipated, Lucas conceded. However, the documentation grants us a position of priority. In theory, Michael warned, in practice they might seek to hinder access. Lucas concluded that a thorough examination of the fund's utilization to date was essential to commence our efforts. Prior to executing the withdrawal, it is essential to ascertain the precise status of each dollar at this moment. We can initiate that today, Janet remarked, her fingers dancing across the screen of her tablet as she made notes. The forensic accounting team stands ready to commence an immediate review. Excellent, Lucas responded, his analytical mind completely absorbed. Let us move forward with the audit and the formulation of the withdrawal plan. I seek complete restoration, free from needless devastation. As they concluded their strategy, Lucas experienced a profound sense of professional duty, overshadowing the sting of personal betrayal. This had transformed into a business recovery endeavor, a realm in which his proficiency was beyond doubt. Mr. Chun, we have uncovered a number of troubling discrepancies. David Winters, the forensic accountant, appeared uneasy as he set a folder down on Lucas's desk. The office lights cast a more unforgiving glare, shadows thickening as the evening drew near. What sort of irregularities? Lucas inquired, as he opened the folder to scrutinize the highlighted financial transactions. David indicated the first section, highlighting 3 significant issues. Roughly $4 million has been redefined in their internal accounting as a contribution from founding partners rather than as an external investment. Lucas experienced a chilling clarity enveloping him. At what point did this reclassification take place? As the launch party loomed just 2 weeks away, David flipped to the next page. Furthermore, an additional $3 million was allocated to offshore accounts earmarked for international practice development. Yet, we are unable to uncover any proof of genuine international operations. What about the third issue? This morning, a series of transactions amounting to nearly $2 million were carried out, moving funds from the firm's main operating accounts into personal accounts belonging to Ms. Williams and Ms. Pierce-Cross. The revelation struck with the force of a tangible impact. Still, Lucas's expression held steady, unyielding. This transcended the realm of personal betrayal. It was a calculated breach of financial ethics. These actions seem intentionally crafted to conceal the path of investment. David continued. A distinct trend emerges in the reclassification of your investment as internal capital, a move that would greatly complicate the efforts to recover it. Do we possess records of the initial transfers? Lucas inquired. Indeed, we have meticulously assembled a comprehensive audit trail that illustrates the original investment flows from your accounts to the firm. David crafted yet another document. The documentation remains clear and unmistakable, even in light of their efforts to conceal it. Lucas examined the evidence, his thoughts weaving through the implications instead of lingering on the betrayal. Sarah had not merely concluded their union. She had sought to claim his investment by means of intentional misrepresentation. The public humiliation was but the surface of a far more profound deceit lurking beneath. He inquired about the speed at which we could obtain court intervention to freeze the remaining assets. With the comprehensive documentation and compelling evidence of possible fraudulent reclassification at hand, we stand ready to file for emergency injunctive relief first thing tomorrow morning. With a decisive motion, Lucas shut the folder, clarity settling in his mind. Gather all essential items. We shall submit our filing at the soonest opportunity. As David collected his materials, Lucas glanced out the window, observing the city lights flicker to life against the encroaching darkness of the evening sky. The revelation shifted what was once a cautious business recovery into a realm of urgency, fraught with the potential for greater destruction. Sarah's decisions had extinguished any chance for a calculated retreat that might safeguard the innocent employees. What started as a personal betrayal had grown into a matter of professional misconduct that required swift and resolute action, irrespective of any collateral fallout. Eleanor Barnes announced the filing of a motion to reclassify the entire investment as a marital gift, sliding the legal document across the conference table with a deliberate grace. The morning light revealed the paper's official seal, creating stark shadows that danced across its menacing words. Lucas grasped the motion, examining its contents with a practiced eye, though a hint of uncertainty lingered. What are the reasons for that? They assert that the investment was motivated by a spirit of generosity, suggesting that, regardless of the documentation, your genuine aim was to bolster your spouse's career as a continuation of the marital bond. Eleanor maintained a composed demeanor, even in the face of the clearly ludicrous assertion. Lucas pointed out that we have signed agreements that clearly state otherwise, which they are framing as precautionary measures not meant for actual enforcement. Eleanor set her glasses aside. Affidavits from 3 witnesses have been submitted, asserting that you verbally characterized the investment as a gift in private discussions. Fabrications? Lucas murmured softly. James Chun, the litigation specialist for Lucas, leaned in closer. They are also seeking out favorable judges. The case now rests in the hands of Judge Williamson, who shares a history of professional ties with Judith Cross. Is it possible for us to seek a reassignment? Lucas inquired. This morning, James provided confirmation. Yet, there is additional depth to explore. An emergency motion has been filed to restrict your access to any firm accounts throughout the litigation, asserting that such access would lead to irreparable harm. A freezing order, Eleanor explained, would essentially secure your investment, preventing any movement while they persist in utilizing your capital. Lucas experienced a constriction in his chest, not from panic, but from a focused fury directed at the deliberate intricacies of these actions. The legal counterattack was evidently orchestrated long before the public announcement of the divorce. James noted that they are also asserting that your attempts to withdraw amount to economic sabotage driven by personal malice, referencing another section in the filing. They subject me to public humiliation, seek to misappropriate my investment, and then accuse me of being vindictive for attempting to reclaim it, Lucas summarized, his voice steady despite the bitter irony lacing his words. Precisely. Eleanor nodded with a somber expression. These strategies aim to drain you both emotionally and financially. They anticipate that you will accept a portion of the investment instead of facing drawn-out legal battles. With careful intent, Lucas set the document down. They have erred in their calculations. This transcends mere financial concerns now. It revolves around the essence of professional integrity. As the legal team delineated their counter-strategy, Lucas understood that this conflict had transformed into something far greater than mere personal betrayal or the pursuit of investment recovery. The situation had evolved into a profound examination of whether personal relationships could undermine formal business agreements, setting a precedent that would resonate beyond his individual circumstances. You need to take a look at this, Richard Hartley remarked, sliding his tablet over to Lucas's desk. The title of the Business Journal piece proclaimed, "Tech entrepreneur sets sights on ex-wife's company in a vengeful financial attack." 3 days had elapsed since the initial legal filings, and the conflict had emerged into the public eye with a deliberate sharpness. Richard continued, his finger gliding over the screen as he unveiled a cascade of similar tales. Inquiries from the venture capital community. The ethical principles guiding Chen's business practices. Williams and Cross are battling against a hostile takeover initiated by the founder's former husband. The backlash from tech investors poses a significant risk to legal services catering to corporate clients. Lucas perused the articles, observing the careful arrangement of each story, all hailing from the same media relations firm. Richard confirmed the one regarding Williams and Cross's retainer. A public relations narrative is being crafted to bolster their legal stance. Melanie stepped inside, clutching a printout in her hands. The tech blogs have now taken notice. Whispers abound that your latest acquisition of synth logic was, in a similar vein, compromised by personal grudges. Lucas sensed the weight of expectations bearing down from all sides. A message from a longtime business associate caused his phone to buzz, breaking the silence of the moment. It is essential to address these allegations, raising apprehensions among our board members. They are assaulting from all angles, Richard noted. Esteemed standing in the field, professional connections, the assurance of investors, and it is expanding. Melanie passed him yet another note. Point 3 Prospective partners for the Singapore expansion have sought a delay in negotiations until the existing issues are resolved. Lucas rose from his seat and approached the window, a sense of confinement enveloping him. A reputation, painstakingly cultivated over 15 years, was being methodically eroded by intricately woven tales. A counteroffensive might be worth considering, Richard proposed. I am acquainted with numerous journalists who would be inclined to share your perspective, thereby reinforcing their storyline of a personal vendetta, Lucas interjected. They seek to transform this into a grand public spectacle. However, Melanie noted that your silence is being perceived as an admission of guilt. Lucas pivoted away from the window, a perilous sharpness creeping into his mind. He possessed the means to initiate a formidable counteroffensive. Monetary, juridical, and informational. He had the ability to methodically unravel Sarah's professional standing at the very moment she sought to undermine his. The urge for vengeance surged within him, a force more powerful than he had anticipated. A single call to select contacts could set in motion an investigative expose into the client practices of Williams and Cross. Another might provoke a closer examination of their financial framework by regulators. What occupies your thoughts? Richard inquired, noting the change in Lucas's demeanor. Asymmetric responses are indeed at our disposal, Lucas replied softly, his tactical mind already constructing scenarios of destruction with chilling precision. The weight of vengeance lingered in his grasp, a potential for ruin that both beckoned and haunted him. Achieving victory through these methods would reclaim his investment, yet it would exact a price that is less tangible, yet infinitely more precious. The penthouse lay in stillness, save for the gentle murmur of the city beneath, framed by expansive windows that revealed a tapestry of lights woven into the fabric of the midnight gloom. Lucas stood before the glass wall, his tie loosened and his jacket cast aside hours earlier. On the table behind him rested the carefully crafted strategic response his team had devised. Bold yet firmly grounded in legality. A journey towards financial restoration and professional redemption. Nevertheless, he had paused before granting the green light for its execution. What defines success in this context? He called out into the silence of the vacant room. The inquiry lingered, unexpectedly deep in its straightforwardness. Throughout his career, success had taken on a measurable form. Assessments, mergers, profitability, distinct benchmarks for success. Yet, this circumstance eluded any simple assessment. A decisive triumph in the courtroom would not only reclaim his financial stake but also risk obliterating the firm, jeopardizing the livelihoods of countless unsuspecting employees. A clash of reputations in the public eye would tarnish both parties, no matter the result. He pivoted away from the window and approached his desk, where a modest array of personal belongings resided, standing in stark contrast to the room's minimalist aesthetic. An image capturing a moment from his formative years, nestled on a friend's couch, immersed in the creation of his inaugural product through lines of code, a modest accolade bestowed by a mentoring initiative aimed at nurturing young entrepreneurs hailing from underprivileged backgrounds. These fragments of his journey revealed a depth that transcended mere financial success. Intent, influence, involvement. Metrics that eluded capture in quarterly reports or valuation models. What defines genuine success? He inquired once more, the query growing more profound. Regaining $20 million would refill his accounts, yet it would fail to bring back what had been genuinely lost. To dismantle Sarah's firm might fulfill a deep-seated desire for retribution, yet it would not mend the fracture of trust. He reminisced about a dialogue with a formative mentor. The true essence of success lies not in what you gather, but in what you give back. The idea nestled into his mind, carrying an unforeseen gravity. In the midst of this crisis, marked by its pain and injustice, there lies a chance to reshape our very understanding of success. Not merely a triumph over an opponent, but rather the metamorphosis of hardship into something truly worthwhile. Lucas returned to the window, his gaze drawn once more to the world outside. The city lights now appear less as solitary points and more as a vibrant, interconnected community. His financial resources could serve not merely as tools in a legal conflict, but as catalysts for meaningful change. The inquiry evolved within him, no longer focused on conquering the struggle, but rather on how to transmute it into something of value. It's not merely about how to react to betrayal. Rather, it's about transforming that energy into something truly meaningful and impactful. With the initial whispers of dawn illuminating the eastern horizon, Lucas experienced an unforeseen clarity rising from his deepest shadows, a sudden awareness that maybe the real challenge at hand was not his monetary status, but rather his grasp of what truly imbues life with its deepest significance. "The judge has granted our emergency injunction," Eleanor announced, placing the court order on Lucas's desk. "The assets of Williams and Cross are currently in a state of suspension, awaiting a comprehensive financial examination, and their request to alter the classification of the investment has been rejected." Sunlight poured through the office windows, casting a brilliant glow on the legal victory, starkly rendered in black and white. After 3 weeks of intense litigation, the moment had finally arrived, a definitive vindication of Lucas's stance. James noted that Judge Franklin found the evidence of fund misappropriation to be particularly troubling, that he has requested a thorough forensic accounting to be conducted under the watchful eye of the court. Lucas nodded, examining the document with a sense of unease that overshadowed the satisfaction he had anticipated. What about their public relations campaign? As the financial improprieties came to light, Eleanor responded, her momentum waning, that a number of significant clients have already pulled back their business. The analytical facet of his mind acknowledged these developments as favorable results, yet they evoked no emotional reaction in him. The triumph resonated with an emptiness, a mere technical feat devoid of profound significance. "What's our next step?" James inquired. Lucas lifted his gaze from the document. "Proceed as intended, reclaim the investment in accordance with the court's directive." Eleanor noted with a sense of finality that victory was essentially ours. "It seems improbable that their firm will emerge from this unscathed." "I understand," Lucas replied with a quiet certainty. The legal team shared knowing looks, their expressions hinting at a desire for greater satisfaction from their client. Following a brief, tense silence, they collected their belongings and left, vowing to keep him informed. In the solitude of his office, Lucas gazed out the window, beyond the confines of his triumph. The city pulsed with its midday cadence, oblivious to his moment of success. He had safeguarded his investment, upheld his business reputation, and skillfully thwarted Sarah's treachery. Every result he had pursued. Yet the accomplishment felt oddly hollow, akin to triumphing in a contest where the rules had abruptly lost their meaning. He rose suddenly, seizing his jacket. "Melanie," he called out to his assistant as he strode past her desk, "I shall be embracing the afternoon hours. Postpone anything that cannot be delayed." "Certainly," she responded, taken aback by the unexpected burst of spontaneity. "If anyone inquires about your whereabouts, what should I tell them?" "Out," he said simply, as he stepped into the elevator. He craved an expanse beyond these confines, where success seemed devoid of fulfillment, and the air was not laden with the weight of empty triumph. Lucas discovered a quaint cafe nestled a few blocks from his office, the sort of neighborhood spot he typically overlooked in favor of more refined venues. The weathered wooden tables and mismatched chairs provided a sense of anonymity that he found appealing in this moment. "Would you mind if I joined you at your table? All else is occupied." He glanced upward to catch sight of a woman in her 30s, a laptop bag casually draped over one shoulder, while a cup of coffee teetered precariously in her grasp. He gestured to the empty chair, inviting the distraction with an open hand. "Thank you." She placed her belongings aside, reaching out her hand. "Maya Torres." Lucas Chin. A glimmer of recognition danced in her eyes for a fleeting moment, only to be swiftly overshadowed by a veneer of polite neutrality. "That IT was a hectic day?" she inquired, gesturing toward the coffee that remained untouched before him. He confessed to being more unproductive than busy. "And you?" Quite the contrary. Exceedingly efficient with limited means. As she lifted the lid of her laptop, a vibrant sticker caught her eye, emblazoned with the words Phoenix Legal Collective, a testament to the ideal of justice accessible to all. Are you an attorney? She clarified her role as a community legal advocate. Engaging with the underserved neighborhoods of Brooklyn was far from the realm of towering high-rises and corporate legal battles. Her straightforward approach captivated him. What types of challenges do you address? Discrimination in housing, exploitative lending practices, challenges related to immigration status, and safeguarding against domestic violence. Maya lifted her cup, savoring a warm sip of her coffee. Legal issues that arise without the cushion of retainers, yet carry significant real-world implications. Does Phoenix Legal Collective offer these services? We endeavor. We find ourselves in a constant state of being understaffed and underfunded. Today, my focus shifts to grant applications rather than client cases, as sustaining our operations hinges on this crucial task. Lucas discovered, quite unexpectedly, that he was now engaged. What is the number of attorneys employed at that location? 3 dedicated full-time volunteers and 4 committed part-time volunteers. Each year, we cater to approximately 800 clients, while regrettably having to decline twice that number. She scrutinized him with greater attention. So you're the tech entrepreneur, are you? The individual embroiled in the legal dispute with Williams and Cross? He noted how swiftly news spreads. She shrugged, dismissing the whispers of the legal community. For what it's worth, not everyone subscribes to their story. He expressed his gratitude, realizing that he truly felt it. Maya pressed on, her tone unyielding yet sincere. I apologize if my approach feels overly straightforward. However, as I gather, there exists a $20 million contention with a firm whose hourly consultation fee surpasses our entire daily operating budget. That is indeed correct. In the meantime, we find ourselves unable to assist victims of domestic violence, as our staffing shortages prevent us from managing their restraining orders effectively. With a decisive motion, she shut her laptop. Perspective truly is a remarkable force, wouldn't you agree? Rather than feeling offended, Lucas experienced a transformation in his perspective. Could you share additional details about Phoenix? How might genuine support manifest for an organization such as yours? Maya regarded him intently for a moment, as if measuring the depth of his sincerity. While I could explain it to you, perhaps it would be more impactful to demonstrate instead. If you truly wish to explore this further, we invite you to visit our office tomorrow. Discover the true essence of community legal work. I would appreciate that, Lucas responded, taken aback by his own conviction. With a graceful motion, she inscribed an address on a napkin and gently pushed it across the table. At 2 o'clock, devoid of suits and entourages, come witness the embodiment of justice in its raw, unfiltered form. The Phoenix Legal Collective claimed the first floor of a transformed brownstone in Brooklyn, its unassuming storefront distinguished by a straightforward sign adorned with a soaring phoenix. The reception area hummed with life, clients perched on well-used yet tidy furniture, while staff navigated the space with intent, weaving between the compact offices. Maya explained as she guided Lucas through the space that the majority of their clients are employed in hourly positions. To forego wages is a luxury they cannot afford. Thus we remain open during evenings and weekends. In contrast to the marble and glass of Williams and Cross, the atmosphere of Phoenix exuded a utilitarian charm, enveloping one in warmth. One wall was adorned with children's drawings, while a community bulletin board brimmed with local resources and announcements. Carlos, do you have a moment to spare? Maya summoned a middle-aged attorney, his desk obscured beneath a mountain of case files. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lucas Chun. He seeks to grasp the essence of our endeavors. Carlos raised his gaze, extending a hand that bore the marks of countless hours spent in labor, rather than the polished appearance suited for corporate gatherings. Impeccable timing. I am in the final stages of concluding Mrs. Ramirez's case regarding housing discrimination. What was the problem at hand? Lucas inquired. The landlord sought to remove her from the premises following her report of code violations. Absence of warmth, defective circuitry, and the presence of mold. Carlos raised a document aloft. A settlement has been achieved that rectifies the violations, provides compensation to her, and safeguards other tenants against retaliation. What was the amount she compensated you for your services? Lucas posed a question. Silence prevails. Our funding is exclusively derived from grants and donations. Carlos waved his hand toward the waiting room. Every individual in existence possesses a genuine legal requirement yet lacks the financial resources to afford standard market prices. As the tour progressed, Lucas noticed a survivor of domestic violence seeking assistance with protection orders. Individuals from diverse backgrounds maneuvering through intricate paperwork, while senior citizens confront exploitative financial practices. Maya elaborated on their most significant constraint: capacity, gesturing toward a cramped conference room that also served as a legal library. For every client we assist, we must unfortunately decline 3 others. What steps are necessary to enhance your capacity twofold? Lucas inquired. In a practical sense, an annual influx of $1 million would revolutionize our operations. Increased personnel, enhanced technology, and additional space. She offered a wry smile. Essentially a minor discrepancy within the realm of corporate law, yet entirely beyond our grasp. They halted beside a wall adorned with tales of triumph, where families preserved their sanctuaries, individuals found refuge from harm, and communities stood resilient against predatory development. This is genuine impact, Lucas noted with quiet contemplation, a profound resonance stirring within him. Maya nodded in agreement, acknowledging the reason we persevere through the obstacles. Corporate law influences the fluctuations of stock prices. This transforms existence. Upon concluding the tour, Lucas couldn't help but mentally assess the potential of $10 million, half of his contested investment, in this landscape not merely as an act of charity, but as a calculated move towards fostering justice. I appreciate you showing me this, he remarked as they made their way back to the reception area. It has provided me with much to ponder. Maya responded with honesty, stating that mere contemplation would not benefit our clients. I truly value the time you've taken to explore our work. Lucas nodded, his strategic mind already crafting a fresh vision, one where the resources he had battled to reclaim could be redirected toward an impact that no quarterly report could capture, yet whose value was undeniably tangible. As he retraced his steps onto the Brooklyn street, the Phoenix sign gleamed in the afternoon sun, its symbolism transforming into something intimate, the prospect of significance emerging from the remnants of betrayal. Our aim is to achieve a full recovery of the investment while reducing any collateral damage, Lucas declared, positioned before the digital display in his conference room. 2 days following his visit to Brooklyn, he convened his core team to refine the withdrawal strategy. Eleanor gazed intently at the timeline displayed on the wall. The court order provides us with significant flexibility. While a complete withdrawal could be executed at once, it would inevitably lead to the firm's collapse by morning, Michael Reeves observed, deftly adjusting financial projections on his tablet. Over 30 employees would find themselves without jobs, facing an abrupt end with no time to adjust. Indeed, Lucas responded. I seek a more deliberate and thoughtful approach. With a gentle tap on the screen, he summoned forth a meticulously crafted 3-phase plan. Phase 1 involves the swift retrieval of the unallocated funds, totaling around $6 million. Phase 2 involves a systematic retraction of operational funds over the course of 60 days. Phase 3 involves transforming the outstanding infrastructure investments into negotiable assets. James Chun arched an eyebrow. This significantly prolongs the process. The court would endorse prompt execution. Legal entitlement and ethical execution represent distinct realms of thought, Lucas remarked. The gradual strategy meets our financial goals, providing ample opportunity for clients to transition and employees to adapt. What about the offshore accounts? Eleanor inquired. Lucas confirmed that the nearly $3 million in funds will be recovered without delay through the court-appointed receiver. However, the operating accounts will be depleted gradually instead of being exhausted all at once. With a thoughtful nod, Michael immersed himself in the task of updating the financial models. This strategy diminishes the chances of filing for bankruptcy, a move that could complicate and prolong the path to complete recovery. Indeed, Lucas concurred, IT opens up opportunities for employees to pursue other roles, Eleanor regarded him with a contemplative gaze. Could you please share what has changed? Just a fortnight ago, you stood ready for bolder measures. Lucas pondered the inquiry, recalling the snug yet intentional spaces of the Phoenix Legal Collective. I have come to understand the distinction between achieving victory in a battle and fostering a significant influence. The timeline appears achievable, Michael affirmed, showcasing the revised projection. Securing court approval for the revised structure is necessary. Yet considering the judge's past decisions, this should pose no significant challenge. With that, Lucas made his decision to move forward. Submit the revised recovery plan tomorrow. Commence the execution of Phase 1 without delay upon receiving approval, and ready the methodical retraction of operating funds. As the team delved into the intricacies of implementation, Lucas experienced a newfound clarity of purpose that had eluded him during his previous triumph. The approach harmonized authentic restoration with careful moderation. Equity achieved without needless devastation. With a sense of accomplishment, Michael announced the completion of Phase 1 implementation, showcasing the transaction records on the monitor in Lucas's office. A week had elapsed since the court sanctioned their revised plan, and the initial phase of reclamation unfolded exactly as intended. $6.4 million was recovered from uncommitted funds and offshore accounts, he continued. The forensic accountant designated by the court has confirmed complete adherence to the withdrawal order. Lucas examined the figures, observing the meticulousness of their execution. What has been the preliminary effect on the operations of the firm? Noteworthy yet not disastrous, Janet elaborated, referencing operational metrics. Their plans for office expansion have been delayed, administrative staff has been cut by around 20%, and a number of junior associates have already found new opportunities elsewhere. Michael noted that client retention has decreased by 30%. Significant corporate clients are shifting their business to alternative firms, especially those that have recognized the financial improprieties. Lucas nodded, taking in the information with a measured sense of composure. The repercussions were significant, yet fitting, a natural outcome of Sarah and Judith's choices rather than an act of spiteful ruin. Janet remarked that the financial press has indeed taken notice, showcasing a selection of headlines from various business publications. Amid an investment dispute, Williams & Cross is undergoing downsizing, while a corporate law startup grapples with funding withdrawal. The legal industry is closely monitoring the restructuring of Williams & Cross, which has received notably balanced coverage. Lucas noted that this situation stands in stark contrast to previous attempts at character assassination. The facts have indeed altered the narrative, Michael conceded. Their public relations campaign crumbled when the financial improprieties were laid bare for all to see. The intercom crackled to life, and Melanie's voice resonated through the air. Mr. Chun, Maya Torres from Phoenix Legal Collective is on line 2, awaiting your response. I'll take it, Lucas replied, motioning for his team to proceed with their analysis. Mr. Chun, I am reaching out to continue our discussion, as Maya mentioned when he responded. I wonder if you've had a chance to reflect more on our collaboration. Indeed, he affirmed. At this moment, I find myself engaged in the endeavor of reclaiming resources that could be redirected toward more meaningful pursuits. That response was delightfully ambiguous. She replied with a touch of mirth. He countered with a preference for strategic ambiguity, yet he anticipated engaging in more concrete discussions in the near future. Would it be possible to schedule a meeting with your executive director next week? Maya offered him a reassuring promise. I'll make it work. This community requires champions equipped with both intention and means. With the call concluded, Lucas redirected his attention to the financial data, his focus sharpened anew. Every dollar reclaimed symbolized not merely the revival of his investment, but a wellspring of potential resources for influence that surpassed anything Sarah had imagined when founding her firm. The methodical disassembly of Williams & Cross served not as a conclusion, but as an essential evolution toward a greater purpose, a deliberate redistribution rather than simple restoration. We filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, Eleanor declared, stepping into Lucas's office with court documents clutched tightly in her hand. As the 6th week of the withdrawal process unfolded, the final phase faced considerable opposition. With a keen eye, Lucas noted the importance of timing as he perused the filing. As we near the infrastructure investments. Indeed, Eleanor affirmed. The filing for bankruptcy halts our recovery efforts while awaiting the court's examination. They are endeavoring to protect the remaining assets, which amount to around $7 million in technology systems, lease rights, and client relationship infrastructure. What impact does this have on our timeline? Lucas inquired. She acknowledged that it brings about delays. The bankruptcy court must assess the claims of creditors in relation to the remaining assets. They will contend that prompt liquidation would obliterate the value of the ongoing enterprise. James made his entrance, carrying supplementary documentation. The legal team has submitted supporting declarations, asserting that the firm can continue to thrive if permitted to reorganize its obligations, which includes the recovery of your investment. Lucas contemplated this turn of events with a measured composure. We have options to challenge the bankruptcy filing as a tactic of bad faith delay. Eleanor put forth the idea. The current court orders afford us a position of precedence among creditors. Alternatively, James suggested we might consider negotiating a settlement that offers immediate partial recovery of the remaining assets, all the while permitting the firm to maintain operations at a reduced scale. Lucas reclined in his chair, contemplating the merits of each approach. Sarah's bankruptcy filing was undoubtedly her effort to safeguard a portion of the firm. She had constructed a frantic final defense to reclaim something from the methodical retreat of his investment. What percentage of recovery can one expect from a negotiated settlement? He inquired. Considering our advantageous standing, we can confidently obtain 60 to 70% of the outstanding assets without delay. Eleanor made her estimation. Roughly $4 to $5 million. In contrast to complete restoration following extended bankruptcy processes. Possibly the entire $7 million, yet accompanied by litigation expenses and delays ranging from 6 to 18 months. James elucidated. Lucas arrived at his conclusion. Terms of the proposed settlement. Prompt allocation of $5 million in liquid assets alongside the technological framework. The last $2 million has been transformed into a long-term subordinated loan. To the reorganized establishment. Eleanor's expression was one of astonishment. Those terms are remarkably generous. It achieves our fundamental goal while ensuring the firm's continued existence. Lucas elaborated. The loan may be arranged with fair repayment conditions. Bound by the measures of success. It is probable that they will embrace those terms without hesitation. James observed. This presents an opportunity for renewal. Though at a markedly diminished scale. Compose the proposal. Lucas provided guidance. I require it to be submitted by tomorrow morning. As his legal team set off to ready the necessary documents, Lucas gazed out the window. The settlement would finalize the recovery of his investment. Almost $18 million reclaimed through deliberate and calculated efforts. The company would endure, albeit as a significantly reduced entity. Humbled yet unbroken. Justice was attained without the need for vengeful ruin. The resources he once safeguarded were now poised for a new direction. In pursuit of a purpose that transcends mere personal retribution. Or the profits derived from corporate law. In the wake of Sarah's betrayal, a new chapter unfolds. Lucas experienced a profound sense of fulfillment. Not from vanquishing his former partner, yet from reshaping what might have devolved into a mere contentious legal struggle. The core of a pursuit that holds genuine significance. $10 million. Lucas declared. The proposal document was set down upon the conference table. Within the unassuming confines of a modest meeting room in Phoenix, legal collectives convene. Formulated as a bequest. With $5 million readily accessible for growth. Additionally, an investment of $5 million has been allocated to ensure sustainable operating funds. The three leaders of the Phoenix shared looks of disbelief, their eyes wide with astonishment. Elena Rodriguez, the director, an experienced community advocate with 2 decades of dedication, initiated the conversation. That amount exceeds what we previously talked about. The total of our annual budget stands at just under $1 million. This unnecessarily constrains your influence. Lucas responded. The proposal outlines a growth plan spanning 3 years. To set up satellite offices. within 3 more overlooked neighborhoods. Grow your team to include 25 dedicated full-time attorneys. Furthermore, establish the technological framework to enhance productivity. Maya Torres, the one who initially introduced Lucas to Phoenix, examined the intricate financial forecasts. This would utterly revolutionize our capabilities. We have the potential to cater to thousands more clients each year, without altering your purpose. Lucas underscored, I have no intention of shifting your attention, yet to enhance your influence. Carlos Menendez, the senior attorney of Phoenix, examined the governance framework detailed within the document. This creates a self-sustaining foundation, yet it preserves our operational independence, crucial for enduring influence. Lucas has given his confirmation. My experience in business can contribute significantly to infrastructure development and scaling efforts. Your team possesses a deep understanding of the community's needs and the priorities of the law. Elena raised her gaze from the proposal. What compels you to undertake this action? $10 million is truly remarkable. Lucas pondered the question with great care. I recently reclaimed this investment from a challenging circumstance, in places where it was generating only a slight yet significant influence. This shift in focus harmonizes resources with authentic community requirements. The Phoenix Foundation. Maya perused the title of the document. Emerging from the remnants of corporate law, to uphold the principles of community justice. Something along those lines. Lucas offered a subtle smile in acknowledgement. Elena reached out her hand, bridging the distance between them across the table. Your proposal has been accepted. With profound appreciation and unwavering dedication, to honor this investment through its impact. As their hands met in a firm shake, Lucas sensed a transformation stirring deep within him, an aura of intentional involvement, unparalleled in comparison to the years of triumph he had known in the realm of business. The very strategic acumen that had forged his technological empire and safeguarded his investment was now aimed at something imbued with significance. Transcending mere financial metrics, the meeting shifted its focus to the intricacies of implementation planning. The weathered table gradually became adorned with architectural blueprints, models of staffing. Additionally, the details regarding technology specifications. The leaders of Phoenix possess a profound understanding of the needs within the community. Praised Lucas's sharp business insight, crafting a shared vision together, significantly more potent than what either could have achieved independently. As the meeting draws to a close, the way ahead was unmistakable, beyond just financial support, yet a genuine collaboration, connecting realms that seldom intertwined, concentrated on the pursuit of justice, an aspect often overlooked by corporate law. Prior to your investment. In a typical week, we found ourselves compelled to turn away 8 survivors of domestic violence. Maya elucidated point 3 months later. She guided Lucas through the newly expanded offices of Phoenix. For the past 6 weeks, we have welcomed everyone without exception. The metamorphosis was nothing short of extraordinary. The original brownstone underwent a transformation, marked by thoughtful renovations and an expansion that breathed new life into its structure. In a community where modern technology is seamlessly woven into the fabric of everyday life, the number of professional staff had doubled. Satellite offices are now fully operational in 2 more neighborhoods. Mrs. Rivera, could you please share your experience with me? Maya inquired of a woman who was patiently waiting in the freshly designed client area. When my landlord decided to turn off the heat, and faced with the looming threat of eviction after I voiced my concerns about the mold that was affecting my children's health, Phoenix promptly accepted my case. Mrs. Rivera articulated her thoughts in Spanish. Maya is providing the translation. At last, my family has found a secure place to call home. The structure is undergoing repairs. The landlord is confronted with repercussions. As the afternoon unfolded, Lucas observed tales of a similar nature. Individuals from diverse backgrounds maneuvering through intricate bureaucratic frameworks. Senior citizens safeguarded against financial exploitation. Employees reclaiming their misappropriated earnings. Each stood as more than a mere legal triumph. Yet a life found its equilibrium. The implementation of our new technology infrastructure has led to a remarkable 60% reduction in paperwork time. Carlos showcased his skills at a workstation. Lawyers are dedicating increased hours to their clients. And more on the craft of creation. Within the confines of the community education room, a workshop focused on tenants' rights was in progress, guided by a recently appointed legal expert who had been raised in the community. We are navigating through challenges. Maya elaborated. We are thwarting their advances through the power of education and the empowerment of the community. As they strolled through the streets of Brooklyn, a journey to one of the newly established satellite offices awaits. Lucas observed the Phoenix logo prominently showcased, the legendary creature ascending from the fire's embrace, now a beacon of hope in communities where legal protection had been almost out of reach. The most profound transformation transcends mere figures. Maya pondered deeply as they strolled along. The current perception of the law is what truly matters, not as an instrument wielded against them. Yet, they can be accessed as a form of protection. Within the confines of the satellite office, a vibrant mural brought to life by the talents of local artists illustrated the rich tapestry of the community's cultural heritage. In the company of emblems representing fairness and safeguarding, attorneys collaborated closely with community advocates. The lines that separate the professional from the client, more open than in conventional legal environments. We have forged alliances with 10 community organizations. The satellite director was elucidated. Legal services have begun to intertwine with healthcare. Initiatives focused on education and economic development. Observing the deliberate movements unfolding in his surroundings, Lucas encountered a sensation unlike any he had known before. Throughout his entire professional journey, a straightforward link among his assets, and a palpable effect on humanity. The fulfillment resonated more profoundly than any possession or the profit margin had ever offered. This marks merely the inception, Maya remarked, observing the nuances of his expression. Anticipate the unfolding of events that await you. When individuals begin to feel that justice is truly attainable. Lucas Chin. I had a feeling it could be you. A voice emerged from the shadows behind Lucas, while he meticulously examined the construction plans. Concerning the third satellite office in Phoenix. We find ourselves 6 months into the endeavors of the foundation. He pivoted, seeking out Andrea Morales, a once esteemed senior associate from Williams & Cross. Andrea. This comes as a surprise. On weekends, I find myself dedicating my time to volunteer work here. She elucidated. Following the firm's reorganization, I sought a purpose that transcended the realm of corporate mergers. What is the current status of the restructured firm? Lucas inquired, truly inquisitive instead of spiteful. More compact. Increased concentration. Sarah and Judith are embarking on a journey of reconstruction, embracing a fresh perspective. Andrea observed him with keen attention. It was unexpected for anyone to see you channel your reclaimed funds in such a manner, myself included at the outset. Lucas confessed. Life unfolds in surprising ways. That is precisely the reason I sought your company today. Andrea pressed on. I am instructing a course on business law at City College. Our department is in the process of crafting a new module focused on ethical investment structures. Your journey. The safeguarding measures alongside this diversion. It would be immensely beneficial for students to grasp. Lucas pondered the request. Are you asking me to recount my experience? A series of guest lectures. Andrea has given her confirmation. A significant number of our students hail from backgrounds that closely mirror the communities served by Phoenix. They are embarking on a journey through the realm of legal education, more than merely a path to professional growth. Yet, to bring about transformation. What a fascinating suggestion. Lucas felt a stirring curiosity about the art of transforming his experiences into profound insights. Others may also submit their applications. The inaugural module is set to commence next month. Andrea articulated her thoughts as she presented him with a course outline. our attention would be directed towards the intricate technicalities involved in safeguarding investments. Contemplating the profound inquiries surrounding meaning and influence, examining the framework, Lucas saw the inherent worth in imparting the insights gained from his experiences, beyond the mere mechanics of legal documentation. Yet, the profound contemplations on what defined true success. I embrace this decision, he uttered. Here is the outline being returned, under a single stipulation. What is it? Field experience is integrated with Phoenix Legal Collective. Within the framework of the curriculum, application is essential for transforming theory into genuine understanding. Andrea's lips curled into a smile. Incorporated as early as week 8. Brilliant minds often share the same thoughts. In the midst of their conversation about the course structure, Lucas sensed the last fragment of his metamorphosis falling into alignment. The resources he had reclaimed were now fostering a sense of community through Phoenix. In light of his individual journey, simultaneously excruciating and illuminating. It would stand as a beacon of wisdom for the upcoming generation of legal professionals. Fortnight later, Lucas found himself at the forefront of a vibrant classroom filled with aspiring law students from various backgrounds. Their expressions mirrored the essence of the communities that Phoenix embraced. The meticulously crafted presentation materials lay untouched, gathering dust in the corner. He chose to take a more straightforward path. "Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lucas Chun," he commenced. "Half a year ago, I successfully reclaimed an investment of $20 million. Born from the ashes of treachery, a law firm emerges. On this day, I shall share my thoughts. How meticulous documentation safeguarded that investment. Moreover, the impact of its redirection was profound, surpassing all that I ever envisioned. Upon the execution of those initial agreements, the students inclined their bodies, eager and attentive, captivated by the intimate narrative, and the ramifications it holds for one's career. As Lucas pressed on, he came to the profound understanding that he was no longer the architect of his own identity. Through the treachery he had endured, yet, through the intention he had unearthed in the wake of it all, from the ashes, the Phoenix had indeed emerged anew. A year has passed since the inception of the Phoenix Foundation. Lucas perched atop the sprawling rooftop of the newly expanded Brooklyn headquarters, observing the sunset's glow as it reshapes the city skyline. A celebration unfolded to commemorate the anniversary. Personnel, customers, community members convened to honor the achievements that had been realized. The metrics stood out remarkably, for fully operational offices catering to more than 3,000 clients each year, a team of 37 dedicated full-time attorneys, and tangible advancements in housing stability, the well-being of loved ones, ensuring economic stability throughout the communities we serve. Yet, figures failed to encapsulate the profound metamorphosis that Lucas had undergone. What started as a $20 million investment, carefully safeguarded via thorough documentation, had transformed into something infinitely more precious. A shift in resources aimed at creating true significance. The treachery that once consumed his mind had faded away, supplanted by a purpose that soared beyond mere personal vindication. 3 lessons emerged clearly from his contemplation. Initially, preparation paves the way to liberation. The very documentation that Sarah deemed excessively formal had ultimately safeguarded not merely his financial investment. Yet, he possesses the power to determine its purpose. Prudence was not synonymous with distrust. Yet, it is about crafting possibilities for an unpredictable tomorrow. Second, meaning surpasses mere ownership. The fulfillment of reclaiming his investment faded into insignificance, in contrast to observing its effects. When guided by true necessity, genuine wealth transcended mere numbers in bank accounts. Yet insignificant contribution. Third, betrayal may serve as a catalyst. The experience that was meant to undermine him had instead broadened his comprehension of achievement, transcending conventional measures into the domain of enduring importance. From the festivities below, whispers ascended into the air. Legal representatives and their clients, members of the staff and the community, united in a shared purpose that transcends individual desires. This, Lucas came to understand, was the genuine benchmark of achievement. Not what one has gathered, yet what one contributed to the creation of. The phoenix had indeed emerged from the ashes, turning suffering into meaning, turning treachery into advantage.